Hey guys, very fun install video today. I got the Aprilia Tuono 21 V4 factory and I'm installing the Akrapovic slip-on system. I'm also putting in the UpMap, right, to get the race map, and also some mirror block off just to complete the complete conversion. And yeah, I mean with the race map it actually deletes the front turn signal, so to have like the very nice and clean install. So I love the Akrapovic packaging. I mean, it's, you're having the install instructions, you're having the relevant hardware here, just very well packaged. The carbon fiber hanger is very high quality. I mean, just the engineering that went even just in the packaging, and of course the exhaust looks phenomenal, just very high quality. And everything's, I would say packaged very well. So yeah, I'm really excited. No damage, and of course just make sure you have everything as part of the parts kit before jumping into the install. Also make sure you're having gloves, right? NWD-40, because before turning on the exhaust, you don't want to get your fingertips all over the pipe and so forth. That just gets the burned in mark. So just make sure to clean the exhaust before starting it up. All right, let's jump right in. So the order of operation, I'm not going to go through the deep step-by-step. The instructions are actually very good from Akrapovic. They even have like torque specs and so forth, everything. But the order of operation is, we're going to be removing the exhaust mounting, right? And on the 21 Tuono, so you have the mounting, of course, by the rear foot peg. You have it also down here where the link pipe goes into. Then you have to take exhaust flap cables here, right? So you take that off and loosen here. And then we're going to go effectively to the servo motor here, and then also remove the exhaust, the other end of this exhaust cable, right over here in the servo motor. Then you're going to reinstall that, and then effectively put in the new Akrapovic link pipe, right, with the exhaust and then the hanger, and then mounting this all up. So it's very straightforward. So the first thing I'm going to do is right here the exhaust mount, and that's going to be a 6mm hex socket, and then you're going to have a 13mm wrench that you can get behind it. Right, so I'll unscrew this one. And I always like kind of assembling everything back together as far as the exhaust mount. You'll definitely make sure you're not losing any of the hardware. And then up here, this is the 10mm wrench. So just loosen this up, both top and bottom. So once these are loose, you can just pop these off. Now we're going to remove the link pipe, right? So this is going to be a 13mm socket, and we're going to go right into there. So a little pro tip, if you're trying to get the exhaust out and it's not quite working for you, just spray a little bit of WD-40 around the exhaust pipe, and that should really help loosen it up. And then just try to articulate the exhaust, twist it a little bit. There it is. So what I actually ended up doing was just taking the top one rather easy off as far as the exhaust valve, but the bottom was a little bit tricky, so I just loosened it up, After I was able to take the exhaust out, I was able to articulate it and just quickly get the bottom one out. So if you're running into that problem, that's a little tip as well. Don't struggle with it, because once it's out, you can definitely just reach the bottom cable much easier. Okay, so here's the servo valve on the Tuono. Its bottom right fairing is held by a 4mm socket, right? And the mounting for the unit's 5mm. So I'm going to see if I can just kind of loosen this and not take the whole thing apart. Let's see, and then maybe I can just sneak everything out. So just be careful. There's a spacer. And then for this bracket that's holding the fairing up, it's a 13mm, right? So you can do like a wrench or socket. And there it is. I was able to take the bottom connector out and then actually just finagle this around, and then that gives you access to these two 10mm behind. And just a close up here, right? So you can see just taking the bracket behind the servo motor out. So let's hold this out. Now that that's out, you can finagle this cable out. And now that that's loose, I have the two cables here, right? And we just kind of slowly snake them out. Alright, just an update. I installed the bracket for the retainer spring, and then I also installed the the C-clamp bracket that holds the mid pipe to the header, right? And the instructions said that you can use the anti-seize on the female side. So I'll clean this up with WD-40 later, but at least you could see the initial set. Still not too tight because I still want to have the muffler, right, and kind of position this, then I'll tighten everything down. So I just mounted now the muffler, right? So from the mid pipe, just making sure it's kind of still loose, right? And then I used the factory kind of billet washer. Used the Akrapovic long bolt and an Akrapovic black spacer. And then there's a spacer and then the nut from Akrapovic. So I think it looks good. I'm going to start putting the springs in and tightening everything up, and then that should be it. Now I'll go through the UpMap install, load up the map, and then install the front turn signal block-offs. So just a little firmware update action. Yeah, so I mean the UpMap's pretty straightforward, right? You connect it right here on the underneath the seat. There's a red connector, and then actually most people will just leave it off because they're just using it to program it, but I'm actually wanting to see the other functions, especially while I'm riding. So I kind of routed it underneath and just put some it's something to kind of stick to the battery, right? So I'm going to see how that goes. Anyways, it's updating now. So I think there's tons of videos out there, but just like a quick like tip. Definitely make sure the firmware is updated. Download your original net map, and then the Aprilia Race ECU map, or the Gabbro tuning versions, right? Those are like highly recommended. Then over here will be the turn signals. I saw a lot of people like kind of messing this one up, and um, it's so much easier just to take the 3 bolts from behind here, right? So from behind the dash, there's a connector behind here. You take that one off, and then connect the connector, kind of the block off plate, and then kind of just put the connector back and tape it back. So that's super easy, and then it'll bring the functionality of the European headlights with the integrated turn signals up front. So yep, that's it. I'm really excited to start the bike. So now I'm flashing the standard race map from Aprilia, and while that's going, I was able to finish, right, just taking off the bolt from the turn signals, and it's just hanging there. As soon as the race map is on, I'm just going to disconnect these and then pull off the block off plates quickly. You just literally just put them in, and then the block off plates come with its own 10mm nut, and then you just button everything back in with the 3 screws behind the dash and the panel, and then that's it. If you like the content, definitely thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a good one.